Okay, I think we are live. What's going on, everybody? Sorry about the, once again, we've been getting later and later in our live streams, and we'll fix that very soon. It's just been really busy around the shop, and nothing really to report about outside of the fact that, as far as the lateness, it just been busy. It's been busy, and we always talk about getting our shit out the jackstand. And this is JACKSTAND Church, and you guys already know that your boy's been busy on that car and on the black car and on dad's car, etc. So trying to find time, baby. Trying to find time. What's happening? Let me catch up in chat. I see it's gotten off to a pretty good start. What's up, Pimp? Wix, SN95. What's going on? Super Dave in the house. Yo, yo, yo. What's going on? Yeah, fashionably laid up in here. That's right. Again, like I said, we got a little off track. We had a little bit of a technical issue for about 15 minutes there. I didn't think I was going to have internet, and I really didn't want to stream through the cell phone like we did the one time. That was kind of a shit show, but we got it done, didn't we? So, yeah, we got a lot to talk about real quick. We had a big video this past weekend, but first off, I want to big shout to my sponsors: Tremec McLeod, Stifler's, Handler Motorsports, Team Z Motorsports, just to name a few. I don't know what I would do without these guys. Trick Flow Specialties, appreciate what they do for us and what they do for you guys here on the channel too. So got a lot of cool giveaways that we've been giving away with Anderson Ford Motorsports. So big thanks to Donnie B and them guys over there. But yeah, man, the sponsors, I try to give back to the community as much as I can with you guys. And I love y'all, and I appreciate you just listening to this old guy sit on talk some JACKSTAND Church on a Sunday, man. Car guy shit with car guy friends. You know what I mean? So what's up, Driver Joe? Wingless in the house. What's up, Skyler in the house? Welcome to Sunday. Hell yes. So we were a little bit late. Like I said, we had some technical issues with the internet, but I got it all figured out, and we're ready to get rolling here. So topics of the evening, obviously, main topic is we had the dyno video yesterday with the black car, and we're going to talk about the dyno results from and we're going to also talk about Wisconsin, why the hell we're going to Wisconsin of all places. I think that's one of the states that I've never been to. We're going to be talking about the TFI. TFI sucks. I'm just going to say that. I hate TFI. And, we blew some shit up. So that's what's on the agenda tonight. And we're going to probably do a little bit of church for about an hour. Let me try to fix this. I'm going to do church for about an hour and 15. We got a banner to give away tonight. So we're going to be giving away probably one of the last Tremec banners tonight. I know we got one McLeod left and a half a box of Hanlon ones. So I need to kind of get up on getting with some of these other sponsors and trying to get some cool shop swag for you guys here on the channel. But Jeremy T, loving this channel. This is definitely my favorite channel. I got an SN95 with a 327 stroker. That is a stock bore 331. 3.25 crank for you guys that don't know. How hard is it to go Terminator X? Really looking to update electronics. Terminator X isn't really all that difficult, to be honest with you. And they don't pay me to tell you this, but from my experiences with Terminator X, just to get this this live started, buy your Terminator X. If you're going to buy a Terminator X from anybody, go to Donnie B at Anderson Ford Motorsports, because they offer probably one of the best customer service. Now, you all know that Donnie does shit for us here on the channel. So yeah, I'm going to shout my guy out, right? But on top of that, they offer what's called a Gen 2. A Gen 2 Terminator X harness is basically what we have here in the white car. They changed like MF Customs with Dan Kimbler. Those guys change a bunch of plugs on the actual harness and make it a lot easier. So you don't, and they also rewire the IAC. One of the biggest issues that Terminators suffer from is it's all GM plugs. And one of the nice things the Gen 2 swap, the Gen 2 conversion does for you is allows you to use those old Ford connectors again. It allows you, if you blow an IAC or a TPS or, the CTS sensor or the whatever, you got an opportunity just to find some old foxbody parts and it'll work. Versus actually, the new sensors and the plugs and splicing into some shit. So that's what I recommend. We're going to do that with the black car, obviously, when we switch over to Terminator X, but we're going to be talking about that here soon. So GT40 cassettes ain't worth the money. I beg to differ, bro. Beg to differ. The weather is amazing. You're damn right. What's up, Krusty Notch? Good to see you. KK's Garage in the house. I have a tech question for you. Hit me up with it, brother. Neo, get to makeup girl. What? Get that makeup girl to hurry up so she can roll. Get some. I have done munch. Okay, so Sean's in the house. Good to see you. Jesse Workman in the house. Good to see you, brother. Hope the trucking thing's been safe with you. Yeah, like I'm just kind of catching up, guys. KK. Okay, back to the bottom. I fought with a micro squirt for a while. Yeah, I don't think I've ever messed with micro squirt. I just went straight from Komodos Quotors to Terminator X. Dominator is obviously one of the best. SN95 use MF Customs, keeps your factory dash and AC. Big shout, man. I wouldn't be talking about him, you know, in what they do with their product here on the live stream if the shit wasn't legit, bro. So when I crank the engine, it blows water out. You can't wait a couple seconds here, dripping and blowing water out again. Wow, it sounds like a head gasket, right? Coolant in the cylinder. I was seeing, anytime you see coolant anywhere that it's not supposed to be, it's a head gasket. Most likely head gasket intake cool. Now, keep in mind, it could possibly be an intake port that's leaking into the actual cylinder, that's leaking past the valve into the head, but that's probably not the case. If it's like straight up in the cylinders, I mean, if you're seeing it in, you know, it is a possibility. But here's the thing: is to take the heads off, you got to take the intake off anyways, right? So you get a chance to at least look at that gasket before you tear anything apart. Great cast, brother. I got to go USA. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Who makes shock tower brace that will fit New Edge? I'm not sure. I already have GT40P heads. I said I paid $80 for them. Shit, that's a steal, bro. All day long. Been upside down under the dash, swapping brake booster, tires and wheels are mounted. Car touched pavement after 6 years, and that's what I'm talking about. Stuff like that is the reason why I get on this channel and get up on here on some live stream shit, and I talk all that car shit with you guys. Like, if you're working in the garage right now listening to my dumb ass on a Sunday, I want you to hit me up in comments and let me know what you guys are working on. I always love to hear what you guys are working on, especially if you're working on your car. It got me up in the corner of your TV or on the radio or whatever the hell you do, you know, with your phone, man. I always appreciate that. So Mustang Chris, that's good. That's good to hear, brother. What's going on, Shelby County? Good to see you. Great channel. Got to go. What's up, Brandon? I'm sorry I was late, guys. Like I said, usually we're kind of wrapping things up towards the end, but we got a little late live stream today. At least we're getting it in. You know, it's like I talk about. You know, we're getting it in. It doesn't matter. Sometimes timing isn't always the best. And, you know, this goes for anything in life, you know, whether you're working out, whether you're going to work, whether you know, nothing's ever going to be convenient. But here's the thing. I needed to do a live stream tonight because I love y'all and I love to come on the live stream and talk some car shit. And, you know, I thought about it all day and I couldn't wait to get here. And it just so happens I got here a little bit late. We're going to peel it back to 8 o'clock again for you guys. But the thing of the matter is sometimes it's just, you know, we got to get it in, man. It's just like when you're working out in the car, got to get it in. I got a bunch of shit I got to do to this white car before I go to Wisconsin. You know, I just got to find the time to get it done. Neo, you want model of your car? No, I'm good. I mean, you can show me what you got. That's fine. Good evening, Neo. I was told that my X303 was Vortex supercharged will throw away boost. The duration is 224. I'm not really sure why it would throw away boost. This is the week I'm going to get my shit up to JACKSTANDs. There's number 2 today. Let's go. Just need to fill the fluids and load the tune in the Holly. That's what I'm talking about. I finished up the 351 Windsor build. Just have to get it installed in the car. Send me some pictures of that so I can share these guys, bro. So just so you guys know, Super Dave's been doing a stock bottom end 351 Windsor junkyard build, and he's going to throw a turbo on it. So he did like a no machine shop deal. So it's going to be pretty exciting to share what he has, you know, going on in his car. I did a brake booster this year too. The Foxes are getting old. Let me tell you what, you're 100% right. And it's not just the brake boosters that I'm seeing now. I mean, a lot of the weather stripping has been pretty much rotted away. It doesn't matter where you're at. you're seeing wiring issues. Like one of the weirdest wiring issues that I've ever ran into with the black car is I actually one of the wires that power the fuel pump circuit, like the relay under the seat. It was like an orange and black wire, orange and white wire, whatever. It come down to the kick panel area, and big thing. I'm going to mention his name again. Dan helped me with the EVTMs that he had. He sent me a couple with the 90 stuff, and let me tell you what, EVTMs are, especially when you're dealing with this old shit, it's worth having on the shelf. 100% worth having on the shelf. The EVTM saved my ass in my black car because otherwise I'd have been chasing my tail. But I found a wire that was dug deep into the dash harness, and there's just things going wrong. I mean, you got to keep an eye on the GT headlight switch, the LX headlight switch. You got to pop it out, take a look at the back of it. The ignition switches are going bad. Just lights and door chimes. I mean, there's all kind of shit that's just tired, man. They're just checking out, bro. So I get it. I'll watch, listen while I'm at work. I appreciate you, bro. I got out, cleaned the boxes around the car, and washed it. It's up on stands, but motivation can be simple as making it pretty again. Just getting my hands on it, man. You just got to stay motivated. And I appreciate that comment you put in the 393 video. You are right, man. Finally got the interior installed on my 88 Cougar. Got to go to the little spin today. That's what I'm talking about. Miles per gallon, bro. I'm in the garage right now installing side window weather stripping I got from LMR. That's always kind of a PETA. You talking about the runners? I'm working on a model for Lou and Mario right now. I'll check it out, bro. I put my lifters in my oil today. That's good. Got off the jack stands on Thursday night, drove it in the alignment shop Friday. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's number 3. Get shit off the jack stand, boys. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm humble as hell right now, to be honest. Because my white car running good, which we're about to talk about here in a second at the top of the list. TFI sucks. I'm going to tell you some shit you guys need to hear. Dad's car, obviously Dad's car is still broke. We haven't done a video on it, but it runs good, and we just got some easy fixes-ish. Some stuff we got from Handler Motorsports not too long ago. Got a new shifter base and a cable and cable, quad, and adjuster, whatever. We'll fill that thing up and make it good. Maybe go make some hits at the track. And of course, the black car. Black car run good, man. Made good power, but I told y'all my dyno's greedy. Not making an excuse. I don't think I've ever walked away from my dyno and said, wow, that made a really good number. It just always been like, I've never was impressed with the number. And I don't really care because I know I take it to the dyno jet and I did videos on it and take it to a dyno jet and it'll make more power, but it doesn't matter. It's tuning is, dynos are tuning, and that's what they're there for. It's going to be close enough. I don't really care that much. I knew on my dyno, if I made between 400 and 500 or 450 and 500, it's a win. It is what it is. I put a carburetor on there. Yeah, I think if you put a carburetor on the black car, it would make 500 wheel. Just a good, well dialed in, like 10, not even a 1050, like a 900 or something on E85. I think it probably would have made 500 wheel right there on that dyno at that time. But just like a carburetor, you got to dial in the EFI too. And just so happens, we're just going to have to move on for what we already have. So looking to see if anyone has a Victor Jr. EFI. Plenty of power for the street. You're damn right. It's miles per gallon. So let's talk about TFI sucks, because TFI does suck. And the fact of the matter that, we got to give away, before I get into this, we got to give away a hat or a t-shirt tonight. Am I right? Because I think I just set the goal back up again. So I think we did a goal last week. We had a goal for t-shirts and hats. So yeah, I got to give one away today, just so you guys know, courtesy of the guys who super chatted us last week. So we do like a goal. We do like a goal every week where we'll set up like a 5 goal. Like they have these things. I don't know if you see them right there in chat. But half of that money goes towards a shirt or a t-shirt plus the shipping money when we reach the goal. So we've been doing it for a couple weeks now. I think it's pretty cool. It's just, I don't see a whole lot of that money anyways. I just rather just give it back to the channel or whatever. So I think that's pretty cool. But we do have to give one away. So we will be giving that away with the Tremec banner, and I'll let Mike know what's going on. TFI does suck. You're correct. So, once again, we got the goal up just so you guys know what that is. Check that out. What type of aftermarket seats do you prefer in the Mustangs? TMI. I think TMI's got one. Is that right? Is it TMI? Who's that one that LMR has? I mean, the seats aren't perfect, but they look nice. Have you built any power adder carb cars? I have not. I think that's something we need to kind of mess with. I went dual sync when I went with the Terminator, but I have coil near plug in the future. So TFI sucks. And let me tell you why. This past weekend, like, I got a video coming up this week, and we've been talking about, we've been racing a white car, getting it ready, and it just seemed like I was just, no matter what I did with the white car, it wasn't making power. Like, it was making power, and there was no noise, there was no signs of this wrong, signs of that wrong, or whatever. I took it to the track 3 weeks in a row. The 23rd, the 30th, and then then what was it, the 1st? So I went Wednesday to Friday. And I should not have TFI on any of my cars. And for the last year, and I didn't really realize that until I really started thinking about it. The last year, I've done nothing but fight with timing components and timing chains and TFI and distributors and distributor gears. I'm just done with them. Like, I'm so tired of the bullshit. Now, with the recent events with the black car, I'm pretty sure TFI and that distributor, even though we put a new gear on it, I think it's walking as well. I think there's like a handful of issues that can be just weeded out of the black car, and there's your 50 or 75 horsepower that I was looking for on my dyno of all things. And just so you guys know, we did take the X pipe off, and it made about 20 more horsepower. So the 451 is what it is. It's the way it sits. That's the way we drive it. It does make more power without the mufflers, because chamber mufflers do take power away. And I will put a little small video up to show you, because there's dyno proof right there anyway. But point of the matter is, TFI sucks. And I don't know why at this stage in my career that I'm still messing with that shit. Now, for most builds, when you're kind of getting into the build, one of the things that you want to do is you want to kind of plan, right? You want to plan for a lot of things we just skip right over. Want to make a bunch of horsepower. To be honest with you, with my black car, I just wanted it to sound super nasty. I wanted it to drive around and be really cool and make decent power. And anything between 400 and 500, 600 horsepower in a foxbody is dangerous. And we talked about that. You get out there in that damn road, the car weighs 3,000 pounds, 3,200 pounds. You put that shit in the ditch if you don't know what you're doing. It's easy on 400 horsepower. And that's really a good goal. That's a true goal to shoot for. 400 to 500 horsepower is a damn good goal. You can make that power on a bone stock motor at 11 pounds of boost, 10 pounds of boost, 12 pounds of boost, depending on what kind of fuel you're running. Make sure you wire your pump, throw some injectors in it, throw a turbo kit on it or a supercharger, go make the power and have some fun. We just did it with all motor on the black car. It makes 451. Actually, it makes like 470 torque. That torque was a little off from the tack signal. It's always a little bit torquey, but because a couple of the pulls were like 460, 470, and then you see like this 400 number, and you see the tack signal is kind of like it'll throw it off. But nonetheless, torque's up there just with horsepower. It's pretty happy number, pretty medium number. But point of the matter is, TFI sucks, and I should have, a lot of my problems with this motor in this car in the past year has been from timing chains that have broken sheared pins. What did we learn there? Double pin your camshaft. You know what I mean? It's always going to be a teaching moment in my live streams that I'm trying to talk to you guys about, and just, so you guys don't trip on this shit like I did. Like, if you order a camshaft, most billet camshafts come with double pin and or like 3 screws or whatever that the timing gear screws into the camshaft. They give you a short and a long stock when you get a new camshaft. Always put the long stock in. Don't ever put the short one in. And that's one of the problems that we learned with this is you will shear the pin, throws your timing off, and then you bend all the valves in your head. Long story short, he had nothing but problems with TFI and timing components in this damn car in the last year. It's gotten to the point to where, we're going to be talking about, I'm going to show you in the video that the shit's just dumb. It's the distributor I should have cam synced it a long time ago and done the crank trigger with the coil near plug, which we have all the components over here. It's just a process. You know what I mean? We race so much. We got so much going on in the shop all the time. Anyway, last year we ruined the motor with the timing components. We ruined the motor knowing that the TFI was all jacked up. And we continued to use the motor. By the time we got the shit right, it was the end of the year. Kicked the year off. We were already behind. We just went ahead and went with it. Sometimes if it works, it works. But what we did find on our distributor, and it's something that I'm kind of getting to the point, I'm over here long-winded and shit, so I apologize. To get to the point that I'm talking about, check your distributor. You'll be surprised on how much. Lock your distributor out. Like, lock it out. Take the spout out. If you got a stock one, you got a modified one, whatever. If you're running factory harness, whatever. If you're running Holly, go sync it. Go sync it and sync it to 20 degrees. Because I like to check mine at 20 degrees. What I found in the white car, no matter how much boost I threw at the damn thing, no matter how much timing or how much fuel I changed or whatever, it kept running the same number. 590, 590, 590, 60, 590. I was like, it doesn't make any sense. So what I did find out is the one thing, sometimes when you change shit, it went almost 870s, well, 880s, letting off at about 1,000 foot, 1,200. And then all of a sudden it was a shit show. So what I did find out is the distributor walked. Like I think it's just like maybe the something with the 363 dart block, or excuse me, the Ford Racing block and the distributor hold down. You know what I'm talking about? Like it moved. Not the distributor didn't walk like from the gear and the cam. It's like physically moved. And it has to be something with, I'm just tired of that shit, because if you cam sync that stuff, it doesn't even matter. You know what I mean? Your timing comes off the crank trigger and that's it. So we would have never even had to deal with this yet again. But I found like 5 degrees. It was, I synced it on Holly. It was 20. And I looked in the mechanical. It was 15. So guess what? We put it back to 20, locked it down as best we could. And we went out there and turned it down because we had everything turned up. So we turned it back down and went out there and busted out a number. Let's put it that way. And it just felt like the car was back. So I've been running probably for the last month and a half on some bullshit and didn't even realize that the distributor actually was robbing like 5 or 6 degrees from me or whatever. What's up, Chris Lane? Good to see you, man. I'm sorry I went long-winded there, guys, but TFI sucks. Like if you guys are getting ready to build a Yote, I think Yote has coil near plug. I think all that shit's an 8. It's all part of the wiring harness. I mean, if you're building a 302, 351, and you can do a budget one. We're gonna do as cheap as we can do on the black car. I'm not gonna lie to you. We're gonna do LS coils from the junkyard. We'll make our own brackets, attach them to the damn valve cover, some cheap LS spark plugs, and we're gonna buy a decent crank trigger. And we're just going to convert it to coil on plug. It is what it is. Jesse Workman, man, I appreciate the $10 super chat. I am working on wrapping up the front end bit rebuild, and hell yes, trying to get done with plates and 28s. There you go. Go out there and make a splash, bro. Wouldn't have all of those problems with TFI if you Yote. Here we go. I mentioned Yote, and look who shows up. It's every time. Did someone put the that's what I'm saying. Who let this guy in? If you want the black car to sound super nasty, you'll never know until you finally get those vibrant mufflers. There we go. There it is. Anyways, that's what's up. That's what happened. TFI sucks. So we seem to think we kind of have the same kind of issue that's brewing on the 393. We'll talk about it. I went into this long spiel, but I wanted to give you a back history. That the white cars just had nothing but dumb problems from not properly putting a timing chain. You want to double pin your timing chain. If you plan on making some decent power, like double pin it or have it double pinned or whatever you got. You don't even want to know what we did to this one. It required some welding. I ain't gonna lie. Don't be dumb like me, but we didn't double pin this camshaft. We didn't have time because you remember we rebuilt this motor to make the Kentucky race in end of September last year. It's a bad bitch. We did all the right stuff. It's a badass motor. It doesn't have my trick flow heads on it, but it's a badass motor. But I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I took the ARP bolt and we had a billet steel or whatever timing gear, and I just welded the damn bolt to it. I don't give it. Welded the nut to the washer to the gear. It ain't coming out. It ain't backing out where the shit. It ain't gonna shear either. So, Neo, do you no, you would completely different problem. Yes, you're right. We would probably be trading one problem out for the other, Dave. You ain't lying. What's up, Heath? Good to see you, bro. I got our boys second shift racing hat on. So big shout to Garrett Leach out there. He's going to be helping us in Wisconsin. We got Wisconsin coming up. I'll actually be able to see Heath there. He'll be bringing that badass real teal coming up. Take some stick shift money, possibly. But anyways, that's what up with the TFI. I kind of gave away the whole damn video that we're going to write up about it. But yeah, we've been fighting. You know, we that's not the only thing that's happened. We're going to talk about that here in a second. We blew some shit up. But moving on to the next thing. What else we got? Wisconsin bound. So we decided on a whim. We were supposed to race in Milan, Michigan. I made a big post about it. We were going to race at the No Time Kings or whatever the hell that was in Milan on the second week of August. But the problem was, you know, it was a Tremec sponsored event, and Mike over at Tremec wants, you know, as many of his Tremec sponsors that race, you know, at most of the events that he sponsors, and that was one of them. And the next one's actually in the Holly Fun Fest or Ford Fest or whatever at the end of September. Anyway, that got canceled. So kind of a shit show. It sucks because, you know, we had it all set up and wanted to have a stick shift class there, and just ain't gonna happen. So on a whim, last spot of the 32 cars, I decided to get a hold of Ryan, who was throwing the event in, I think it's Great Lakes Dragway up in Union Grove, Wisconsin. So if I got anybody up there that's, you know, part of the channel or whatever, you know, make sure you come over and say hello. Come support the event. Always nice to see subscribers and followers at the at events, especially at the racetracks, car shows, local car meets. You know, go support that shit. You know, this is what we always talk about: getting your car off the jack stand, miles per gallon. You know, you get your car out the jack stand, go over, enjoy some people, meet some new people, make some new connections. Maybe not. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's what it's all about. You know, it's better than staring at the shit. But if anybody's up there in Wisconsin or going to that race, you know, make sure you come up and say hello at the trailer. My little landscaping trailer, as Skylar would say. You mow your lawn while we're there. Anyway, but that's what we got going on. We decided there's a big outlaw stick shift event in Wisconsin. There's 32 cars, and they're going to split the class. So there's going to be two classes. There's going to be an all-out outlaw class, which is the big money. And, you know, I think you're going to have a number of well-known names showing up for that. And then you're going to have a street class. That's, you know, I don't know where the street class index is going to be, but they'll actually index it like it could be 9.0, it could be 912, it could be whatever. It's going to be whatever the fourth qualifier is from that event. So it's going to be pretty fire, man. We got the white car that can run, you know, pretty well in that range that you would normally see those type of cars at this type of event. So we should be pretty competitive. It should be fun. And I get a chance to hang out and do some stick shift shit with some stick shift friends. So that's why we're heading to Wisconsin. That's happening Thursday. I'm heading out Thursday afternoon. I'll be down there late Thursday. We do some qualifying on Friday. We beat the fuck out of this white car the last 2 weeks. We know what it's going to do. It's happy. We're going to do a nut bolt check on it real quick. Make sure we don't die on a wall. And, you know, just basically, you know, get some shit done, you know, change the oil, do some maintenance, check the tires, just start loading up. So like I said, anybody up there or anybody going to that event, it is this Friday and Saturday. I'd love to meet you and say hello. So Neo's lawn mowing services. Come on, son. Looking forward to hanging out. Be sure to make yourself at home in our camp. I will 100% do that. And I appreciate you though so much for that. So I can't wait to hang out with, like I said, man, stick shift is a different type of, it's just a great class to be part of. I mean, there's some really heavy hitters out there. There's just some good people that I've met over, like, you know, I met Tom West over at, he's got the twin turbo LS swap S2000, and what a cool dude, man. He was super cool. And it just, we're all kind of a little bit crazy in stick shift because, like, going, sixes, sevens, eights, nines, shit, going tens. You it's a wild ride. I mean, you gotta be a little bit crazy to do what we do with that shit. But I mean, it is what it is. One bad gear change and the car's all over the place and it's unloaded and all upset and pissed off at you. Yeah, it's good times. Anyways, Great Lakes is a track I usually go for. Come hang out, Matt. Come hang out and say hello. The index for the second class is set off the number 4 overall qualifier. So what if the overall qualifier is like a 7-0 or we all know who's showing up, Skylar. I mean, they can't be, it's got to be the number 4 qualifier from, so it'd be like number 20, 21, right? Because that doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I guess we'll figure it out. Great weather and Race Kings of the Columbus backside Saturday. Now, how did that go? I heard a Mustang won that. Best cam for 170s 306 N41. Thinking trick flow stage 3 is close to the same thing. So whichever one you choose is still a great cam, either one. Stick shift is the equalizer. You're correct. And then when you start getting on shitty pavements, it's the true equalizer because it's a class. If you want to watch, if you really want to watch some good fun shit, go to a no prep that's got, I mean, the track's already the equalizer to begin with, and then watch stick shift. Stick shift's always crazy. Stick shift and hard tire, because hard tire's got to run on like a 300 treadwell tire. So it's like a tire you have in your truck, and they have to get down on that shit. So that's always a one to watch. So, okay, we'll measure and make sure. Okay. Is it hot in Wisconsin? Nope. It's like, it was perfect time to test this past Wednesday because we got a chance to, or excuse me, this Friday. It was the same exact degrees and DA in Quaker that it was in Wisconsin. So it was really cool. But, so that's where we're headed. That's Wisconsin. What's on the next one? We're going to talk about the dyno power here in a minute with the black car. We'll get into that. NA single plane C4. I'm checking the chat. Has anyone tried the Jegs 185 heads before? You get what you pay for, bro. What a lot of things could happen is, like, you could use the casting and then change the valves and the seats and stuff like that. I've seen a lot of folks do that. It's getting hot in Wisconsin again by the end of this week. Figures it would get hot again. You know what I mean? Right when we all show up, right? So anyway, blowing some shit up. So on top of the fact that my TFI decided to walk itself, or its distributor decided to walk itself out, we also blew up a turbo. Now, something going on because my turbo, my boost levels was acting up funny. Like, it just wasn't spooling correctly. If you really kind of look at it, all my fins are bent. Like, they're bent kind of awkwardly. And most of them are cracked. It wasn't hitting the housing. Most of them are just cracked from heat. I run a small turbo, so you can see these are all bent over. Like, it's not just here. Oh, you can't even see it. It's not just, I mean, you can just see the whole pitch. They're cracked up here. This poor wheel has seen its day. Plus, I think we bent the shaft because it didn't spool like it used to. Like, when I would run through my burnout, you would hear that thing just spool up really quick. But we blew a turbo up. And luckily, we have 2 of them because we're going to set up a twin turbo setup. We have 2 of the exact same 76 ball bearing turbos. So we didn't really we didn't have a whole lot to do. But as soon as we switched the turbo up, it made night and day difference, between, the timing, and the turbo still worked really well. It probably would have ran probably the same amount, but it definitely wasn't spooling correctly. So the nice thing about it is Precision Turbo tagged us up on Facebook and said, hey, send that in as soon as you can. We'll get you fixed up. So they'll take care of us. They've always been pretty good for us. So I've been wanting to finish that engine because it wasn't sure on the push rod length. Nitrous, you can use a supercharger for a TKX swap. Do I need to use a pilot bearing or bushings? I would use a pilot bearing. 100%. So, anyways, talking about the 393. So this past week, we released a video and we did the dyno with the black car. What do you guys think of that? So it ended up making 451 to the wheels. We didn't really get into a lot of timing. We started to add timing, and it just got to the point to where there was this dead spot in our tune. And I'm not making any excuses. You know what I mean? I'm not making any excuses here. So hit that like button. I appreciate that, Jesse. So never make any excuses. But I know that the 11R 227s are good to about 30 degrees. 29 to 30 is where they really get efficient from the angle. You know what I mean? There's not really much to go past that. So the 227s are badass heads. I'm not gonna lie to you. The intake with the fuel injection and us tuning it, there was just a dead spot. There was like a spot that we just, no matter what we did, we couldn't tune like between 2,500 like 3,700. Like that motor starts coming in the load right about that time, because that's where we started most of our dyno runs, is 2,500 wheel or 2,500 RPM. And as soon as we started, you could hear it like kind of kick out. And right when we got to about 3,700, 3,750 or whatever, it started to come into its own. But I mean, you're already kind of in your load peak. Like you're starting to get into your load, specifically your torque. So there was definitely some issues. We couldn't figure out what was going on with it. We ended up band-aiding it a little bit. We run it a little bit lean there. I'm not really sure what Dave decided to do with the tune, but it's definitely, the intake that motor does not like my A9L or the quarter horse, and it just doesn't make any sense. And maybe there's something else wrong with the car. But the nice thing is I'll be able to switch it over to the Terminator X and just fix it myself and have a good tune going on. Can't remember. Did you figure out the low RPM cutout? I don't know. We changed plugs. We changed. Oh, it's not the ignition box. The ignition box would just stop working. It wasn't the distributor. It wasn't the coil. It's just something in the tune. It's got to be the intake. Like the intake is just flowing so much air. I don't know. But every time we would add more timing, it would just cut out more. Kind of. It just was acting up. But the nice thing is, I was happy. You know, it did make just under 470 to the wheels without the X pipe. Made 451 with the chambered, and I'm happy with it. Probably could take that to the Dyno Jet at Backstreet that we usually go to, tune it a little bit, and probably squeak in on 500 in the way it sits. But it's going to require a Terminator X. That car should have been Terminator X and coil near plug, just like my white car years ago. And that's just where we're headed. We're going to enjoy it. It's still safe to drive at that. You know, it's not a problem. I like to be very, I'm real picky with my tunes. Like it got to be perfect, especially on the quarter horses. The Holley Terminator X, you know, I want to be able to street drive it. I want to be able to hammer on it. And if you put the time into it, you know, it's just like getting your shit off the jack stand. You just got to do it. Just got to put the time into it and do it. But long story short, that's pretty much what happened. We made pull after pull. We had to start over completely. The 387 tune fouled all our plugs because it was just too much fuel. So we had to lean the tune out, which was crazy. But we just started over. We started out low timing, started working our timing in, and we stopped at 26 at 451 wheel because we figured that, you know, let's just go ahead and leave it there. We're not even going to add. We added timing. It did make more power, but it was just like, you know what? It's just struggling with this computer and the tuning. There's only so much you can do. Yeah, I know you can. We've worked our magic with quarter horse for many years. So it was kind of a different scenario for us. It was weird. Like this motor just wanted to eat lots of air, and we just needed to get rid of that mass air signal and go with the Terminator, go speed density style. You know what I mean? I think that's where we're headed. It's definitely a carburetor. That thing made 500 wheel that weekend. We dial a carburetor and pretty easy. So that would be kind of cool to do to the black car as well. Is what's the difference between, you know, us doing Terminator X and us doing, you know what I'm saying? Us doing like a carb. Like I'm not really a carb guy. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but I mean, I'd have to buy one because that motor is gonna want like a 900 CFM or 1,000 CFM just to run. So, if you could run one tire for a stick and auto foxes for the fast street passes and no prep, what would it be? If you could run one tire for a stick and auto fox, probably the Hoosier. Which ones do they run? The D3s? I don't remember. Hoosiers are a pretty good tire to run on no prep and on the street. But I'm a big Mickey Thompson stick wall guy, so you know, a 3055S is what I would always run. Andrew McFall, I appreciate the $20 super chat. I think that's enough for, we'll be giving away a t-shirt and a hat tonight or both or whatever. We do have some new merch up on Neomustangs.com. We got Dad's jack stand stuff fixed. So big thanks to a stupid camera. Big thanks to Mike over at 417 Fox for hooking that up. Let me go ahead and take a peek at it. Give me a uno momento. So yeah, we're going to be giving away the banner and 2 hats in church tonight, or hat or shirt. We actually have a merch shelf. I don't know if you guys checked out the merch shelf, but we've updated that too with Dad's jack stand stuff, which I thought was pretty cool. So let me bust in here real quick. Hold on a sec, guys. Yeah, it looks like we got most of them fixed up. We got the blue car, black car, and white car at neomustangs.com. And don't worry about that white. I don't know why that's coming up in white on the back of that, but that's not like that. Damn it. Anyway. N41 for sure. Let me see what the question is. What's up, Thomas? Good to see you. Classic Cars. What's going on, bro? Chamber muffler sounds good, but it kills much power. A chamber muffler will kill 15 to 20 horsepower, just so you guys know. We just did it. Some of them are 10 to 15. It depends on what type of muffler it is. You know, obviously, open headers, you know, we have header dumps that we're kind of working on right now, but we have a really good header setup that we modified a set of 1 3/4 BBKs. I showed you in my last video. They're not like that when you buy them. You have to buy the extension piece. You got to have about 18 inches of scavenging to really take advantage of that. Do you know if G4 still makes parts for the T5? I don't think so. Let's say somebody said no. I think Holly would help a lot. I agree. I think we can get to 7,000 RPM because the motor kept making power. I mean, you can see in the dyno video, we stopped at 6,500 and the peak horsepower was at 6,500. So what's that tell you? Shit was still climbing. Whatever. We're happy with it, Rich. You know, like I tell you guys, you know what I mean? I'm happy with it. I'm going to drive the wheels off that car by the end of the season, and we're just going to enjoy it. Miles per gallon, man. 450 wheels, plenty enough horsepower to get in trouble with. You know what I mean? What size throttle body? 70 millimeter stock ECU, lots of mods. Just catching up. Sean, what's better to use? A 302 with GT40 intake, B-cam, or N41? That's a tough one, man. That's dealer's choice right there. Hell yeah. I'll be sharing that, Chris. I appreciate it. So we blew the turbo up. What else we got to talk about? Frozen? No. Okay. Yotes and turbos. Yeah. Well, let me finish out the 393. The next mods we got coming up for the 393, we're pretty set with the way it runs, but by the end of the year, we got mufflers to do. Now, we talked about mufflers for the last couple weeks. There's one thing I really like about the 393. It don't make all the horsepower in the world, and I don't really care if somebody's 306 or 289 makes 700 wheel. I don't care. You know, it's miles per gallon to me. I like my shit. It's never going to win a car show. It's never going to be the highest horsepower car, but you know what? We work on it. We get it done. We make it cool. You know what I mean? We make it the way we like it. And that's what you should do with your car. You just build it the way you want to build it. I wanted to build a nice, kind of semi-obnoxious, you know, sounded really good exhaust system. I want to build a nice Windsor motor that made good power that I could just get on it at all times. Just, you know, maybe shoot some nitrous out at one day or whatever. But, you know, it is what it is. I just wanted to get my black car on the road. You know, just like I appreciate you guys, get your shit off the jack stands. I always wanted to drive it. And I've driven it so much in the last like 2 weeks. I can't tell you enough how important that is to me. You know what I mean? And that's just, you know, I live the same shit that I've been preached to you guys every week. And, you know, I try to keep my cars off its jack stands and keep them running pretty well. So, I mean, it is what it is. What's up, Vance Cooper in the house? Just left Cedar Point, the kids and a wife. I am camping in Peninsula. Hell yeah, man. As cheap as aluminum heads are, everyone should switch to them versus GT40 heads. GT40 heads are cheap and in the junkyard still. I have the VS Racing 7875 next gen billet turbo with a T4 divided. What RPM is that for? 7875 is going to spool pretty quick. I run a 7675 here, ball bearing, but it's an open 127 housing from AGP. So it's got a little bit of a bigger housing. It's still a small wheel, but we you know, we run that shit like that on purpose. So, but anyways, Neo, which one of the cars are you going to put a twin turbo on? The coupe. The coupe's going to be nasty. I'm telling y'all. I got this big ass smile on my face because the coupe's going to be nasty. The coupe's going to be light. It's got all the cool shit. Like it's got all the adjustable torque boxes in it, you know, thanks to Team Z. And yeah, it's going to be, we're going to set that thing up on a little bit of radial and we'll be able to change a bar angle and go with a slick. Matter of fact, you can run a slick on a radial style bar angle all day long. You know what I mean? So we're going to set that car up. It's going to be nasty. It's going to be two twins, same motor. It's in the white car, two twins and stick shift. You know, it's going to be nasty. You know, we're looking to go 550s off trailer, make 1,000 wheel on about 10 or 12 pounds of boost. You know, just have fun with it. Dominator. It's going to be kind of race car-ish until we get the car kind of dialed in a little bit. And then we're going to put some interior in it and make it more street-ish. You know, I like it. It's a good idea. It's what we were going to do this year. Didn't have enough time. So it is what it is. What's up, Matt? Good to see you. So anyways, let's give away one of the hat or t-shirt combos. So let me grab something to write on. So from last week, because we hit the goal, I think we hit it, or I think we're one short here. But that's all right. We're gonna give them away anyways. So Andrew, Jesse, thanks y'all for what you've done. We are going to go ahead and give away 2 this week. So let's do that real quick. Let's do a couple of the giveaways and then the banner here in about 10 minutes. So we're not going to be on terribly long today, but yeah, I wanted to basically get in with the live chat. You guys know I love the live chat shit, man. I love y'all. It's my favorite time of the week. I'm telling you, man, it's my favorite time of the week. So anyways, so for the first hat and or t-shirt, we're going to do, I want to do a trivia, man. Let's do something that, somebody on the channel that's been following the channel for a long time might know. What do you guys think? What cam? Here we go. Okay, this is for the first hat and or t-shirt combo. Now, if you win, email me at neomustangs@hotmail.com and give me your request on whether you want the hat and or the t-shirt, and I'll forward it to Mike to Mike, and let me know which from the site from neomustangs.com which shirt or hat that you want. See what I'm saying? So I know it's kind of a little bit confusing, but you go to neomustangs.com, you can see my merch, and you can pick from something there, and we'll get it shipped out to you in the next couple of days, if that's cool. So we're going to do trivia real quick. What was the camshaft that we used? This is a tough one because this car wasn't on the channel super long. Matter of fact, it's the other black coupe that we had on the channel. We had a little baby 306 and we had a little baby 302 in that car. What camshaft was in that motor? It had a small GT40 style. No, it had trick flows on it. As a matter of fact, I think there was a 1.7. It had small trick flows on it. It was a 302 motor. This is before we put the 351 in. So we only did like a couple of videos on this. Wasn't stock. Johnny G got it right there. Trick flow stage 1. So I know it wasn't that hard of a question, but in the black coupe, we had a flip piston engine build. That was our very first one. And we basically used the parts that we had available, much like we did with Dad's car. So basically, we took what we had parts on the shelf. So we bought a set of trick flow heads, much like we did with the 387 from like $600 on Facebook. We had a trick flow stage 1 camshaft. We took a 302. My buddy Mustang Mike Meredith. He if you guys remember Mike, he's got the orange comp orange Coyote swap, and he's raced I don't know how pretty much every car that I've owned in the stable. Long story short, we made 500 wheel in that car. I think it went 10,001. We never went 990s on a stock bottom N302 to date, and that was the car that got the closest. We used a hogged out GT40 Explorer intake, some trick flows we got on Facebook that we rebuilt with some springs that we had laying around that were in good condition. Trick flow stage 1 camshaft we had laying around, which isn't that bad of a camshaft for a turbo. I mean, it's not the best, but it is what it is. It's what we had. And just a bunch of stock parts. We flipped the pistons in it, dropped it in there. We made our own turbo kit. And we ran it with a C4 that we went almost 990s with a C4 and a decent torque converter. And yeah, we stick shifted or whatever. So that went back 12 years ago. It's been a while. So I don't know if that was a guess or if you actually knew that, Johnny G, but that was 100% the right answer. So need you to email me, Johnny G, and let me know what you want from the website. So we're writing on the back of this Summit sticker here. So just let me know what you want, the hat or you want the shirt. And then, of course, I'll just forward you to Mike, and you can coordinate with Mike on the site and neomustangs.com and let me know what you want. I went back. Okay, so what else we got? Yes, 351 rules. I win. Gunner, I installed a 400 horsepower 380 torque set from Amp Driveline. Cost $599. G-force was $1,900. So I didn't go with a turbo on mine. I got a good deal P600B. Man, that's old school right there. P600B. We actually have videos on the channel still with some of the very first videos. If you guys scroll through the channel, are a P600B in our white car here. I think we only made, what did we make? 400, 390 to the wheels on like 13 pounds like we had like the smallest pulley possible. Like I'm pretty sure that the P600B is a driver's side mount, if I'm not mistaken. this big old obnoxious bracket that reaches literally all the way over to the damn fender well or the apron. Is that if I remember correctly? It sounded good though, man. I ain't gonna lie. It sounded like, it sounded badass. It was loud. Had them like heritage gears in it. Well, it wasn't heritage. That's Anderson stuff, but yeah, it was loud. It was whiny as hell. But I think we only made like 380 to the wheels or 390 to the wheels with that on like 13 pounds, 12 pounds. Quarter horse. I mean, we went through like a tubular intake. I had a set of Edelbrock cylinder heads and E303 cam. I mean, it was just basic bolt-on shit, really. It didn't even have rockers on it, I don't think. Yeah, maybe it did. I don't know. Didn't make a whole lot of power, man. Old P600B, baby. Stage 1, yeah, that's a 12 LSA. That's what I thought. It's a decent turbo cam. It's not terrible. We wouldn't have stuck a 110 in there. So there was a reason why we did it. And don't hate on that Cobra cam right there, Matt. We actually owned a couple of them. So another tip that I'm going to give you guys. All factory Fox body camshafts have a tag on the inner lobe where the cam gear is at. The cam gear is the gear that the distributor gear runs on. Okay, it's cam gear. So between the first lobe of the bearing and the cam gear, there's like a hatched, like a bunch of hatched, whatever. I guess I can just show you. But every stock cam, whether it's speed density, mass air, or even the Cobra cam, even the Explorer cam, they all have, and the 351 cam, they all have a little stamp in there. So the Cobra cam, and I'm only telling you guys this because he brought the Cobra cam up. I think the mass air is Z, and I want to say the speed density is ZE. They're both super close. They're not even really worth mentioning, but there was two of them. The Cobra cam was actually GT, the little hatched area. The Explorer and 351 roller were both TE. So just to give you an idea of, if you're looking at factory camshaft, if you happen to be out and about swap meeting in or whatever, and you see a camshaft and they say it's from a Fox body, you can tell what it is just by looking at the lobe. It does have a marking on it that will identify it. Like aftermarket ones have it all etched in the back because it's the cam grind. But the factory ones also did that, and they stamped it from the factory, just so you guys know. Just a little tip of the trade. So what's up, Gabe? 451. We got some tuning to do though. It's at 26 degrees. Made 451 at 26 degrees, just at about 470 with the X pipe off. So not terrible. We got about 5 degrees that we can monkey with, but we don't want to. We got a little dead spot in the tune we don't like, so we're gonna switch it over to Terminator X. We're gonna drive it a little bit and switch it over to Terminator X and probably make some more power for sure. Anyway, it's a 500 wheel all day. It's a 500 wheel all day. I'm not worried about it. If I'm going to be honest with you, we put a Terminator X on it. We start tuning it up again and get to about 28. Those heads are good to about 30 degrees. And I'll show you in the tune. I'll show you right now. I mean, I'll show you a picture of it. I'll show you the timing that we have in the tune. But, I'll pull it off the quarter horse. I forgot we used his laptop, not mine. And Dave's, that is. But anyway, if I had to guess, it'll make 520, 515-ish to the wheels. And on my dyno, that's pretty good. It's not terrible. I wanted to make between 450 and 500, and it made just that, even with the issues that we had. What carb on it? Quit monkeying around. Yeah. Yeah, 190s. I mean, at 32 degrees, 190 it might be choked up a little bit at 32 degrees, but not really. Trick flow heads are really efficient. They're probably the best cylinder heads you guys can buy. If you got the money and you want it, and you're going back and forth between what cylinder head to get, the trick flow design is proprietary. It's one of the best heads you can buy, no doubt. So, anyways, let's give away the other. Let's give away the other hat and or t-shirt. So Johnny G, make sure that you email me neomustangs@hotmail.com. I'll pin you on the inbox, and we will get you sent over to Mike. Let me know what merch you want, and he can ship it out for you, if that's cool. So hang on a second. Let me switch over. Let me type it in. And the merch is at neomustangs.com if you want to go check it out, Johnny. So the next one's just going to be, we're just going to spin the wheel. So let's do, hell yeah. Hey man, I'm push rod for life, baby. So we will talk about, here in about 5 minutes, I will go on a little tangent between 351 Windsor and Yotes. And that's what was one of my main topics of the night. And I want to kind of reiterate something that I had a conversation with Handler Motorsports a couple months ago, and just kind of give it to you guys real, you know what I mean, about 351 Windsors. I actually had a comment of a guy that told me he was blaming me for the foxbody prices being so high. And he was also blaming me for the 351 Windsors they can't find them anymore. And that's not that shit. It doesn't hurt my feelings, but I just had to smile and be like, bro, like, why you hoarding all the shit, man? You should be, we would have more 351 Windsors if you didn't hoard them all up. So yeah, we'll do hashtag church. So let's go ahead with hashtag church on the second hat and or t-shirt. Again, if you win, neomustangs.com. And that is the site and the email. So yeah, if I could put a carb on a Coyote, I would. Variable time. No, you blame the internet for the high price so high. That's right. You know what? It is what it is. You know what I mean? 351 Windsor's a badass motor, boy. You know? Hell yeah. That's a badass motor. The Yotes are a badass motor. It is what it is. It's just, fox bodies are badass. Son, shit. Love that stuff. You know what I mean? That's what I grew up on. Boy, that's some good stuff. I'm telling you. So we do have a Tremec banner still giveaway too, so don't go anywhere. But while we're doing the hashtag church, I just want to get on my soapbox a little bit. The 351 Windsor and the Coyote, if I'm being honest with you, I had a good conversation with somebody, Handler Motorsports, and it was actually here on the live about a year ago. And guys, I'm going to be honest with you. My 351 Windsor pushed 393, okay? Costs about the same in current form as it would have cost the Coyote to build a Coyote. Or not even just to build a Coyote, but to swap it over. Now, you got to take a couple things into perspective. To make a 351 Windsor overcome a Gen 3 power level, you got to stroke it out. 408, 393, 427. 427 is only possible clearly with a aftermarket block. So you kind of get into too much money at that point. But I'm talking about production block. This is why you don't sleep on 351 Windsors. It's all, you build what you want to build. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a Yote. It doesn't matter if it's a 351 Windsor. Let's just be happy. Here's one thing. How about we just be happy that we got a motor that is a bad bitch that we can step into at another day? Imagine if 351 Windsors was still the king. Like, they are in pushrod, but imagine if they were the king. Imagine if we had to deal with Godzillas all the time. And Godzilla's not a bad motor neither. I like Godzillas, but Coyotes, they are the next iteration. And if I'm being honest, it's probably the best motor on the planet when it comes to, outside of diesels. Diesels are cool. The 5.9 Cummins and 6.7 Cummins. I love the diesel motors. We're not even talking about diesel motors. We're just talking about, passenger vehicles, Mustang stuff. It's apples for apples. So I'm not going to lie to you. It's all pretty much preference at this point. Some people say you can build a 351 Windsor and put it in your Mustang cheaper than you would a Coyote, sure. But you could also find a Coyote motor that's cheap and do the same thing. But there's a lot of things that you got to change in a Coyote. You got to change all the harnesses. You got to change the K-member, and you got to buy the motor, and then you got to do some, I think there's some brackets you have to buy. I think there's some booster stuff that you got to buy. So there's some things that required that a 351 Windsor wouldn't have. You see what I mean? Wouldn't have to require. So if I'm being honest, I'm a pushrod guy for life. I'm eventually going to be into the Yotes. So let me go ahead and give this away real quick. We'll go back to that, talking about that. That's a good topic to talk about. Okay, here we go. You ready? Who did I hit? Who was it? Was it Lucifer? Because I clicked it and I clicked it off. It was either Sean or Lucifer. Which one was it? I clicked it twice. Did you guys see it? Let me see if I can go backwards. Oh, wait, I can just watch my other live stream. Hold on. I'll tell you what it was. Oh, I think it was KK's garage. I clicked somebody and it went away. I don't know why. Is that who won it? Yeah, the first time. I'm just going to go ahead and... Yeah, that's fine. I screwed it up. So usually when I screw shit up, then I... Yeah. So listen, Sean, where's he at? I'm going to give away to both of them. I don't give a damn. I screwed that up. That's my bad. So, I'll take the L. It's my fault. So Sean, go ahead and send me a email in KK's garage. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, KK's garage. That's what I thought. I seen it just there at the end. So I got you guys both. So Sean and KK, make sure you guys email me. Let me know what shirt and or hat you want. Same with Johnny G. So there's the hat from now this is from the goal from these folks that Jesse and Andrew and Jesse, we set a goal on the live stream. If you guys looked at it, I think it's like 5 super chats at like $10. And I'll give away some merch, whatever, a couple of them, whatever. Pays for the merch, it pays for the shipping, and we're giving back to the community. So we did one last week, and big thanks to Super Dave and a handful of other guys for being part of that. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, so Sean and like I said, we gave away 3 of them. We're gonna give away the banner here in a second, and we're gonna end the stream. But going back to what I was talking about with the Coyote. It's just preference at this point. Like 351 Windsors aren't hard to get, but they're not easy to find either. And just like the 393 that we just built, the 387 was really cool, and there are budget ways of building power. And if you can go out there and you find a 351 Windsor, specifically a roller one, and I say this only because you're saving yourself like $600 on roller rockers, on lifters like link bars, okay? In a roller block isn't any different than a non-roller block. They're pretty much the same motor, except the fact that you can take your camshaft that's already in your 302 that you blowed up, if you have one, and this works specifically for people that go from a modified 302 that's blowed up or throw a rod or whatever, and you want to switch to a 351. So if you have aluminum heads already on your 302, like, Trick Flow 190s, AFR 185s, most likely they're already set up with 1/2-inch holes for a 351 Windsor. You see what I mean? You can take your cylinder heads, and like Super Dave did with a stock bottom N351, you can take your cylinder heads, you can take your camshaft out of the 302 you blew up, And all that stuff converts over to the roller motor. You see what I mean? And then you don't have to, you have to buy new push rods, but you can use the same rockers. But this is why I always kind of stress, if you can get a 94 to 97 roller block and you see it in a junkyard, it's an EFI, they're in trucks, they're in vans, they're all over the place. They're not that hard to find. You just got to go look. They suck to pull out. But if you can go find this stuff, you're already ahead of the game. You know what I mean? The 302, if you got a 302 that you just want more power, you just want something better, that's when you start talking about a stroker and stuff. So yeah. Ford is going to have to bring back the 351 to complete the vet. I know, I hear you. I've got the 351 roller in my local junkyard, like 7 of them. So I'm talking about, I mean, they're in trucks, guys. They're in trucks, they're in vans. You're not going to find them in a car. They never put them in a passenger car for what I remember. So you're going to have to go out there and look. They're in E250s, E150s, F150s. You just got to find it. Most likely, I've seen most of my 351 encounters came from vans. Sucks to pull them out. Even my AFR Enforcer heads are set up for 340. Yeah, so when I talk about converting over to a 351 Windsor, I'm talking about those folks who already spent money on their 302 and don't want to start over. That's when it's a perfect opportunity for you to do that. Because you've already got cylinder heads. You probably already got an N41 cam or a trick flow cam or, maybe even a custom Ed Curtis cam or something, something cool. You might already have that stuff. But, I mean, the grind might not be perfect for the 351 Windsor, but the only thing you're going to be battling really is an oil pan and a lower intake. So, but when you start talking about Coyotes, you start talking about K-member swap. You're talking about full wiring harness swap. You got to do fuel system on both of them. It doesn't matter. There's other things involved. And in the end, pound for pound, 351 Windsor, you got to buy aluminum heads. You got to buy a cam. Whereas, Coyote Gen 3, Gen 2, Gen 1, you can just drop in, put a cheap intake on it and change the oil pump gears or something like that. I don't know, but it can make power. But I can tell you on my dyno, Gen 1 made 360. Gen 2 made 385. Gen 3 made like 410. So what's that tell you? But I know they can make more, but I'm talking just, out of the box swaps. I'm not talking about, the Voodoo cams and the big boss intake. You start adding horsepower at that point. So R393 is right up there with, making like 470. It make I didn't put it in the video. I don't know why I didn't, but it made 470 with the exhaust off, with the X pipe off. That's basically what it would have made with some dumps. 451 with the chambered mufflers. So if it's pound for pound, I'm gonna pick push rod all day. But Coyotes are the future, and I keep telling you that. Don't hate on them. I'm always gonna be push rod for life, but Coyotes are the motor for future. And the nice thing is exciting about it is we have probably the best motor to look forward to. But for now, I'm gonna still live my 351 Windsor dreams. I do like my 363 a lot, and one day we're gonna be pushing the Coyote world again. You know what I mean? Or not again, but it's just in the cards. Just it is what it is. I'm very interested in that motor, and I'm going to be excited to learn its whole plant. But that's where it's at, baby. You think the 11R 205s is worth using on a 347? Absolutely. 351 Windsor stock block capabilities. Cubic inch, and this is done easily. 406 by 406 by, you talking about the 417 rod? Like the 417. Was that a 417 stroke? Is that right? 60 over, right? Is that what you're talking about, Gabe? They're in Galaxies and LTDs from my 69 came with a Windsor. Yeah, that's old school. Like, I didn't even mention them because it's just so old. You're not going to see those in much in the junkyard, but you're right. 351 really crack in the cam tunnel and non-lifters are better. I think the motor, the 408 that we made 1,000 to the crank, we're just using the rule of 18 to 20% parasitic loss. So I think we made, what was it, 890, 900 of the wheels? Yeah. So it made over 1,000 crank. Was a roller motor. What year's a roller cam? 94 to 97. I got 4 of the 351. Listen, I like this, the fact that I'm making a big deal about 351 Windsors. To be honest with you, I don't give a damn how much they cost at this point. They're not getting scrapped. That's all that really matters. You're not going to find this shit no more. They stopped making 351 Windsors Well, obviously they stopped making them before the end date. I think the last push was like 93. I mean, 92 is when 93 is when they were started making 94, 90 to 97, and then that was it. They haven't made them in like 30 years. So if you're gonna find them, if you're a Ford fanatic like we all are, ish, right? You see a 351 Windsor, I don't give a damn what year it is. Just if it's cheap, get it, buy it, put it in the corner, wall art, whatever. It's not doing anything but seasoning up. You know what I mean? The cast steel, they don't make that shit like that no more. It's all aluminum now. I mean, that's cool, man. The Coyote's aluminum. That's what excites me. The motor's really light and it makes good power. It's got a lot of cool parts in it. You know what I mean? But don't hate on the 351. We got to stay with it, baby. Got to keep it alive. What's it take to make a 351 into a 408? Crankshaft, piston rods, rotating assembly. It's a very normal build. You know, the 393 can use the factory rods, a cheaper crank, and you can get away with some shit. Like the 393 we built, we've got some medium forged. We got some Wiseco pistons that are kind of medium road, middle of the road pistons. They're not really good, but they're not really bad. I think we paid $500 or $600 for the set, $700 for the set. We bought a set of cheap scat crank or scat rods, which we could have used the factory ones if we wanted to get budget. And then we bought that $350 cast steel crank that we had in the 387. There's your 393. We had to balance it, build the short block. And then of course, we got on board with TrickFlow and they gave us the 227s for that. And we put a big old cam in it. So 393 is kind of budget if you use the factory Windsor push rods, or excuse me, the factory Windsor piston rods, because you can use them. That's one of the things. The 387 was cheap because we used a cheap crank, some factory 4.0 pistons, which are the factory forged pistons, and factory rods, and it worked. The shit worked. 387 made good power. I mean, it was 390. What do you make? 398, 40, 398, 415 to the wheels on some budget shit, on some cheap. I mean, those 170 heads were small, boy. I'll tell you, if we'd have had a set of 11R 205s or even the 227s on the 387, it would have made probably 425 wheel. I think it would have made it. It wouldn't have made, and I think the 393 that we have now makes 500 wheel. It will. They got a Mexican 351. That's a tough one to find right there. That's a good one. The Ford dealer sells the 351 Windsor crate motor. Do they? That's an aftermarket block, though. Has to be. I need to start going to look in junkyards. 351, I think 351's the way to do it. You guys build what you want to build. Don't let me influence you on some shit that you don't want to do. You know what I mean? When you start mixing generations together, you make decent power NA with the Coyote. See, I heard about the 321. Something about one of the blocks, one of the rotating assemblies, and the other one's the heads. So yes. 351 swap Windsor start at 800. Yeah, there's a couple things that you guys need to know, and it'd probably be a good video for me to kind of warn you on when you start swapping over to 351 Windsor. I mean, we use those BBK shorties. Y'all have seen them. We use those BBK shorties, and they cost us like $350, $300, and they weren't bad. I'm being honest. We still made about 20 more horsepower. I think we capped out at 380 with the shorties, and when we put the long tubes on it, it went to 398. So we picked up 20 horsepower. But these things work out pretty well. So there are some kind of cheaper ways of putting a 351 Windsor in your Fox body. Like I said, you lose some power, but these 1 5/8 they weren't terrible. Good for stock bottom end builds. Maybe a stroker, but you start getting into the money with stroker, you might as well buy long tubes. But that's one of the things. The intake and the headers, expensive. So anyways, let's give away that banner. So let's go hashtag Tremic. So hold on. Let me write this. Hashtag Tremic for the banner. Sean Flesh. And KK. Make sure you guys email me, Sean, Johnny G, and KK's Garage. Make sure you guys email me. I'm doing a 312 right now. I'm waiting. I'm just waiting on parts. 312. Once you get the 351 headers, pulleys, intake, it would be cheaper for in the long run. Yeah. So the lower intake is the holdup, the 351 Windsor, and so isn't the headers because you got to build the exhaust. But we'll go hashtag Tremic. I don't know if you guys. Yep, there it is. My chat is all slow today. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Sean. Yeah, I forgot to tell you guys. We do have a membership that we do every week or every month. It's a reoccurring membership. I talk to my members quite a bit in there. They all get the videos early, and it's you could pick one of the tiers if you want to sign on for a month, couple months. I got members that's been with us for 4 years. So big thanks to the guys in green. If you see their name in green, they are a channel member. So they're a subscriber and a member. So it's the join button on all my videos. It's if you want to give something back to the channel and be part of us for a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever. We'll put that stuff towards the content that we do here in the channel. So I love y'all. I appreciate all my members. Thanks so much, Sean, for joining up. So we'll do a hashtag Tremic and then we'll call it a day. But I'm really kind of happy, man. We got a good hour and a half. We talked some good shit. TFI sucks. If you're gonna build a car, and we always want to just go out there and make as much power as we can, right? And you're gonna build a car, try to budget in coil near plug. Maybe get rid of the old distributor shit, the old ignition stuff. I think that's one of the biggest problems that are holding us back on not only one car but the other. You know what I mean? So consider the fact that you can do a budget coil near plug with LS coils and not be in it a ton of money. So fuel, it's kind of one of those things like fuel systems. You know what I mean? It's just a bitch. You don't want to spend the money because you don't think it's going to make a difference because you already got a distributor or whatever. Same thing with the fuel systems. It's just one of those things that you got to buy, that you should buy, that's going to make your build more efficient. Adding fuel, doing a fuel system and doing the ignition upgrade in a foxbody is huge. So I just want to make mention of that. What about the new Holley distributor? That doesn't use the TFI. You're talking about the dual sync. Dual syncs are good, but full coil on plug is the way to go. You got a cam sync. Here's the thing about the budget cam sync. Like you could do a budget 8.2 deck 302 style motor because you could use the Explorer cam sync from the Explorer GT40 motor. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. 351 Windsor, you can't. You have to buy that one, but you can use the factory Explorer 302 cam sync that's in the GT40 motors, and you can get LS coils in the. We're talking about junkyard part. LS coils and their harness, pigtails. There's another junkyard part for your coil near plug, and then you can build your own brackets, and then all you need at that point is a crank trigger. And you can even use coil near plug on A9L. It's been done. It's actually on the internet. It's not easy to do. It requires some repinning, but I'm pretty sure Dan was telling me about that at MF Customs. So I wanted to make mention of that. So let's go ahead and give away. Thank you, Neo, and everyone. Have a good night, man. It's good to see you, Sean. It's good to see you, brother. Dude, a proper fuel system is expensive, and no one warned you. You're 100% right. And it's one of those things that you don't want to spend that money because it's not going to directly make more horsepower or make your car faster, but it's just one of those things you got to do. That's just the nature of the beast. So, all right, here we go. For the Tremic banner, we scrolling. Oh, wait, I lost it. Scrolling. Let's go to the bottom area this time. And click here. Rich Long, congratulations, bro. Made sure I didn't double click it that time. I think you spelled Trimic wrong. Let's find one that you, let's find one that you didn't spell it wrong. You did you go in twice? You spelled it wrong. That's all right, Rich. I don't care. We knew what you meant, brother. Just teasing you a little bit. Congratulations, Rich. Okay, KK, you sent me the email. Sean, make sure you send me the email. So I got KK, I got Johnny G, and Sean, make sure you neomustangs@hotmail.com so I can get you over to you can check out the merch at neomustangs.com to pick out what you want, and then email me, Sean, Johnny, and KK, and tell me what it is that you're wanting to get and your address so I can get it out to you. So I'll forward that to Mike at 417 Fox, and yeah, we'll get you taken care of. So anyways, 3,500 to $4,000 with injectors alone, or like a 1,600. Yeah, my injectors were 12. Yeah, fuel rails. I went PTFE, went E85. You know, it's not cheap. Carburetor, or should EFI this new build? Supposedly non-race EFI setups suck and don't work with a 110 lobe. It's kind of the same thing that I'm having a problem with right now. 312 is Gen 3 block, Gen 1 heads, and boss heads. Okay, that's what I thought. So it's kind of dealer's choice right there. A good dialed in carburetor is just as good as a good dialed in EFI. And you can see what I'm having a problem with the black car, where it's going to require some time for us to dial that black car in. We're going to have to change some things up and probably have to do some much needed upgrades with not only the fuel system, but the ignition system, which comes with the Terminator X, and do the coil near plug, much like we did in the white car. Maybe it's just time. You know what I mean? Carburetors, you know, like I say, I've been a firm believer that carburetor has actually impressed the shit out of me, especially on big builds like that, for a number of years. You know, I've watched, I don't know how many of my friends with big inch Windsors with a badass E85 carburetor just skin people's asses with it. You know what I mean? And they just dialed in so well. And it is what it is, man. Hell yeah. Congrats to all the winners. So Neo, we still on for, I mean, we're going to try. We'll find a street. I don't know. We'll see where it's at. Is there a budget crank trigger looking? Not really, but kind of. I don't know. There's something about, and this is the stuff that I need to learn. Hall effect versus something else. I don't know. I need to learn this stuff. But you can do a budget coil near plug on your foxbody Mustang on whatever engine you have. It doesn't matter. It's a timing component. So it's just going to make it better. And you can do the crank trigger, the cam sync from a 302 Explorer. You can do Junkyard LS with, you could even have the brackets from that and just weld them onto your valve covers. There's just a lot of things you can do that are pretty budget. Now you can also buy the Holley smart coils and the brackets like I did, and the fancy little dual sync or whatever cam sync that the Holley MSD has. And then I did a really nice crank trigger for the white car, but we're going to do the budget shit for the black car. Pimp, man, appreciate the $10 super chat. I appreciate the motivation as well. Just to be you guys motivate me, man. Without having you on my chat and having you here listening to me talk on a Sunday, you know, it means a lot to me, bro. FTO cash days needs to happen. I don't even know if Caleb even knows. I don't think I asked him, but we'll figure something out. Good night, Super Dave. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for stopping in. What's your thoughts on the carb style EFI? That's what we have on the black car. I love it. Love it. We're going to put the carb style EFI on the 363 too when we switch to the 227 heads, because we're going to do the 227 heads on the 363 with a twin turbo in a carb style intake like that's on the black car, and we're going to put that in the coupe. So it's going to be a nasty little build. So what kind of total timing do you have success with on your GT40 heads and boost? With boost, EFI, GT40 heads, I think we were at like 16 degrees. I don't think we go up much past that with pump gas. E85 will go to 18. Like I only have 16 and a half degrees in my white car, even on E85. I appreciate you all. I appreciate you for stopping in, Mark. Thanks to see you. We'll see you soon this week. Somebody needs to live stream it. Boy, I'll tell you. I'm out. 5 comes fast. Yeah, man, I got to get out too. I got to get up and work. So, anyways, yeah, I have a Holley 36-to-1 with LS coil on plugs. So there's some things out there we got to learn about coil on plug, and you know, once you get it done, then it's over. Right? I should have had a crank trigger and a coil on plug a long time ago or whatever. But anyways, once again, big thanks to Jesse for the $10 super chat, another $10 super chat, and Andrew McFall for the 20. You know, welcome Sean as a new member to the channel, and big thanks to Pimp for the $10 super chat. So appreciate you guys. Had a couple winners on hats and or t-shirts and the banner tonight, which I got to write that down. So we got it all wrote down here. So tomorrow I'll get started on it. But guys, you know, you guys motivate me to be here on a Sunday. I just want to say thank you for what you guys do for me. I love y'all. Sundays are my most favorite time. A little tired today. We've been working hard all weekend, trying to get the white car right, trying to get the black car right. Just been working. You know, we do some rental shit. You know, we got a lot of things going on, but you got to stay motivated, man. You know, you got to stay motivated. You know, write it down. You know, put a whiteboard. You know, put a whiteboard up in your garage, and then, you know, just start marking some shit off. Sometimes it's just getting in the garage and getting started on something. You find motivation in places you never really thought you had. And, you know, Jackstand Church, that's what we're all about. You know, get your shit out the jack stands. I'm humbled right now because my white car runs good. My dad's car runs good. And that black car is a bad little bitch. So we went from having no cars to 3 cars by the midsummer of 2025. And we plan on trying to keep it that way. So, you know, if it's you guys motivate me to do the content, you guys motivate me to get that shit off the jack stands. And I'm just hoping I motivate you sometimes to just think about it. Just think about making progress on your car. And it's not just your car, it's your life. You know what I mean? Budget your time, budget your family, budget your loved ones. You know what I mean? Budget your friends. You'll figure it out. You know what I mean? If for whatever reason, 2 things, you get tired of the shit, put a car cover over it and forget about it. Come back to it another day. And the second thing is, and I talk about this pretty often, be a good human. Reach out to that person that you've been thinking about reaching out to for a while. Check on them. Maybe they're thinking about reaching out to you and checking on you too. You know what? We all have those people that we don't talk to much anymore. And you never know. It might just be a cool thing just to reach out to them and say hello. Maybe they'll be pretty excited to hear from you. So be a good human. You never know who's standing next to you, just barely keeping it together. So outside that, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Have a good night. We'll see you this week in the white cars video that we have. We're writing up tonight or tomorrow. And we're probably going to hit the track before we hit Wisconsin's race with either the black car or my dad's car. So that'll be something that I will try to squeak in before the end of the week. So next time I see you, we'll be driving in from Wisconsin. So it'll probably be a late live stream next week as well, kind of. But we plan on leaving early on Sunday. So keep us in your prayers as we travel to Wisconsin this weekend and we race. And it's a 1/4 mile race. It's not an 1/8 mile race. So, you know, we're going to be looking to pull some parachutes. So love y'all. See you next week and the next live stream. We'll see you soon.